A strange spiral petroglyph is etched onto a high cliff at Fahada Butte. Three massive stone slabs lean against this cliff wall as if awaiting the summer solstice. On that day at noon, a sliver of light emerges from the narrow gap between the rocks and pierces the center of the spiral like a dagger. For the ancient Anasazi, this event marks the summer solstice, which is the shortest day of the year. And months later, on the exact day of the autumn equinox, the sun dagger strikes again. On the winter solstice, not one but two sun daggers appear on either end of the spiral. Thousands of miles away in Yucatan, two large stone serpent heads lie at the base of the Mayan pyramid Chichen Itza. They represent the serpent deity Kulkulclan. Twice a year, the shadow of a serpent appears on the north side and connects perfectly with the serpent head at the base. Only the north side had serpents at the base, the other sides do not, and this event occurs only on the spring and autumn equinox. This shows that the serpent heads were deliberately placed by the Mayans to align exactly with the shadows cast by the sun's rays. Many archaeologists consider such a link between ancient sites and solar events as only a coincidence. But the thing is, there are hundreds of sites worldwide that are aligned to these events. For example, the Sphinx is perfectly aligned to the spring equinox. Stonehenge is synced to the solstices, and there are many such Stone Age sites. In fact, a huge megalithic site was found in India recently, along with another stunning discovery. 14-foot tall menhirs abound here, along with thousands of alignment stones. During solstices, some of them align exactly with the sun. But the most fascinating find here is a star map, an alignment stone with 7 marks depicting Ursa Major, to help find the north direction at night. A man named Anjappa, whose family owned the land, says, "Since our childhood, we have seen our elders telling the time based on the shadows of these stones." Why did ancient cultures align these structures to solar events? It's because these sites served as timekeepers, marked the directions and even the seasons, vital for planting crops in the ancient world. But then, was there something more, something subtle and hidden that the ancients were seeking? Because while many of these buildings were simply used as calendars, there are plenty of structures that defy the odds. For example, take the great houses of New Mexico's Chaco culture. Pueblo Bonito, Pueblo Alto, and dozens of structures lie in a vast arid desert where temperatures soar to 110 degrees, coupled with freezing cold winters. It's hard to grow crops here, and some buildings here were barely used as dwellings. Why build something in the middle of a hot desert with no intention of even living there? This was before modern transport. Pueblo Bonito's central wall runs exactly north-south, and one of its outside walls runs east-west, and the building is perfectly aligned with the equinoxes as per surveys done by researcher Anna Sofer. In fact, all the great houses here have alignments that are absolutely mind-blowing. Chaco culture spread far beyond just the canyon. 90 miles away from the canyon lies Chimney Rock National Monument. Here, a great house was painstakingly built atop a high mesa. Next to it, 2 stone pillars soar towards the sky, setting the stage for a celestial phenomenon that happens once in 18 years. This event is the major lunar standstill and occurs when the moon rises in its northernmost position. At Chimney Rock, the moon usually rises south of the stone pillars, but every 18.5 years, it appears right between the massive pillars. Anna Sofer, who first discovered the sun dagger, says the kiva at Chimney Rock was built only to watch and honor this moonrise. And she says that at the exact time of the moonrise, the spiral at Fahada Butte 2 is marked by moonlight. For more such amazing connections at Chaco Canyon, her excellent documentary The Mystery of Chaco Canyon is highly recommended. The link is in the description box below. So why build a great house on a steep ridgeline to observe something that happens only every 18.5 years? It's a bit over the top, don't you think? And radiating out from the great houses of Chaco Canyon are dozens of strange roads, almost invisible to the naked eye due to heavy erosion. They're straight, long and 30 feet wide. The Anasazi used neither wheels nor animals for transport. So what were these roads used for? Many of the roads didn't even lead to settlements or trade areas. If a cliff stood in the way of the road, it didn't deter the builders. They built ramps or stairways on the cliff and continued building the road in straight lines. LiDAR technology is now bringing to light more of these ancient roads. So where did these roads lead to? They all led to sacred areas like mesas. The Pueblo, who are believed to be the descendants of the Anasazi, say the roads are channels of energy. Earth energies. Is this what the ancient cultures were seeking? Notice that many of these buildings lie in places brimming with earth energies, electromagnetic and geothermal energies. Or they tend to have energy anomalies that are vastly different from their surroundings. For example, scientists have recently discovered strange heat spots across the three pyramids of Giza. In fact, this anomaly in the Great Pyramid is temperature that's a whopping 6 degrees warmer than the surrounding bricks, as seen in these thermal scans. Also, Chimney Rock lies on a ridge line, and ridge lines tend to have a lot of strange phenomena connected to them. This will be covered in a separate video, but for now, bear in mind that many ancient buildings lie along ley lines or places with geothermal and magnetic anomalies. And humans, for some reason, are drawn to these places just like moths are drawn towards light. Why is this? It's because these energies tend to have a massive impact on human consciousness. You may know that our chakras are spinning vortices of invisible energy in our body. This energy is called prana and is said to be a cosmic energy that vitalizes all life, so it is called life force or vital force. We obtain prana from food, air and water, and prana moves in our bodies through our breath. The astral channels in which prana travels to different parts of the bodies are known as nadis, and there are 72,000 nadis in the human body. Chakras are simply the places where dozens of nadis meet, resulting in a vortex of energy. The Chinese call the same energy qi, and the channels through which they travel are called meridians. Acupuncture is based on this energy system. The ancient world believed that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm. So just like our bodies, the earth too is said to have power spots or chakras made up of thousands of streams of earth energy that crisscross the entire globe. These energy streams were coined ley lines by Alfred Watkins in the 1920s. But the concept of earth energy lines is thousands of years old because ancient people lived completely in tune with nature and could sense these energies more easily. The Chinese call these energies dragon lines. In China, all buildings were traditionally built in strict alignment with these energies. A similar concept exists in India too, called Vastu. Therefore, the junction where these streams of earth energy meet are exactly where these structures were built, and some of these locations can be considered the earth's power points or chakras. If you'd like to know more about Earth's power points, please watch the video above. At certain specific times, there's a huge upsurge in these energies as prana and other cosmic energies rush to the Earth. These are the solstices and equinoxes, and throughout the ancient world, it was believed that the influx of cosmic energies is tremendously powerful at these times. For example, the Druids believed that on the equinox, a few plants such as rose plants, verbena and rue were imbued with special energies and thus became more potent. This belief existed for thousands of years. In fact, the 17th century mathematician and astronomer Israel Hebner wrote, "The ancient herbalists say that whosoever will gather herbs and roots must have a perfect knowledge of the influence of the heavens and stars and also know which planets the herbs are subject to and under what constellation that they should be gathered, even to the hour and minute." Today this sounds utterly superstitious, so let's try to understand this better. We know that plants get their energy needs of food via photosynthesis. Could it be that during solar events, the energies are heightened and somehow impact the plants? Because though prana is available in air and water, the ultimate source of prana is the sun. Plants photosynthesize. That means they derive their energy of food directly from the sun, water and air. Since we can't do that, we eat plants for our energy needs. Freshly plucked vegetables and fruits have the highest prana, which depletes quickly as time goes by. Is that why Hybner stressed on the time so much? As mentioned earlier, prana travels in astral channels known as nadis and reaches every cell in our bodies. Of the 72,000 nadis, the Ida, Pingala and Sushumna nadi are the most important. Sushumna lies along the spine with the Ida and Pingala twirled around it. 6 of our 7 chakras lie along our Sushumna nadi, only the crown chakra lies above it. At the base of the spine and coiled like a sleeping serpent lies the powerful Kundalini Shakti. Once awakened, this energy shoots up through the Sushumna Nadi and the chakras, to merge with the crown chakra, transforming one's consciousness. Pingala is associated with solar and masculine energies, and Ida with lunar and feminine energies. Ida ends at the left nostril and Pingala ends at the right nostril. According to yoga, we breathe mainly either through our left or our right nostril, and it keeps switching throughout the day. To test this for yourself, place your finger under your nose to find out which nostril the airflow is stronger right now. If the flow from the left nostril is greater, that means Ida is dominant, and if the flow from the right nostril is greater, that means Pingala is dominant. About every hour or so, we breathe in equally through both our nostrils, but only for a few minutes. This is considered to be optimal and signifies that the energies are balanced and is therefore the best time to meditate in this state. Because when Pingala is dominant, we tend to be physically restless, and when Ida is dominant, we tend to be mentally restless. And in both cases, we can't meditate well. So, how to balance the flow in these two nadis? This is the purpose of Hatha Yoga. As Ayurvedic Dr. Alini Singh says, the prime aim of Hatha Yoga is to establish a balance in the flow between prana in the Ida and the Pingala, so that we are not disoriented either mentally or physically. The literal translation of the word Hatha means forceful in Sanskrit. It's made up of two words Ha and Ta, which are two bija or seed mantras. Ha represents Pingala Nadi and the solar qualities, and Ta represents the mind and lunar qualities. Balancing Pingala and Ida or balancing the sun and moon leads to the awakening of higher consciousness. All yogic asanas are aligned with breath in order to bring awareness to breath and body at the same time. Yogic techniques which involve the breath are known as pranayama, where prana is the life force and yama means to master. Why is prana considered vital? Because we move because of prana. All our movements, from talking or walking to raising your thumb, please do that if you like this video, is because of prana. Prana even influences the quality of our thoughts and emotions. Once inside our bodies, prana divides itself into 5 different types of energies called vayus. Each of the vayus has a specific function and works on a specific area and chakra of the body. For example, the Vyana Vayu governs the functioning of the nerves and veins and is linked to the Swadhisthana chakra. The sun is absolutely essential in yoga as it is the main source of prana or life energy. We also get prana from nature. When we are in a forest or near a pristine lake, prana is very high. That's why it feels good to be in nature. When prana leaves the body, we die. It is believed that our prana returns to the sun when we die. Note that prana is not the same as the soul. When India submitted the petition to the UN to declare a specific day as the International Day of Yoga, the chosen date was not some random day. It is June 21st, the day of the summer solstice. In the same vein, in India the winter solstice is considered highly conducive for spiritual growth because from sunrise to sunset, the earth is said to be enveloped by Chaitanya or divine consciousness. In India, a related festival called Uttarayana takes place around 23 days after the winter solstice, on the fixed date of January 14th, which marks the day the sun begins its journey towards the Tropic of Capricorn. Uttarayana itself means northward journey and is tied to the harvest season. It's a major festival across India with different names. In South India, it is known as Pongal, and a dish of the same name is cooked outdoors to honor the sun god, as the sun rays on this day are said to be especially beneficial. Activities on this day are designed to maximize exposure to these powerful solar energies. That's why the Kite Festival of India takes place at this time, since kite flying is done outside at daytime. But according to yogis, the best way to soak in these energies is by meditation. The yogic sciences also say that our spiritual progress is directly linked to the amount of sunlight the earth receives, and since we receive more sunlight at this time, this period takes one away from materialism and towards spirituality. Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev says, during the northern run, what is above the Anahata chakra can be worked much more easily. Particularly, the first half of Uttarayana until the equinox in March is a period where the maximum amount of grace is available. That's why in terms of sadhana, Dakshinayana is for purification and Uttarayana is for enlightenment. The summer solstice too was a festival in many parts of the world. In Eastern Europe, it is called Kupala night, where nights are the shortest. Rituals included lighting bonfires throughout the night, bathing in rivers, and gathering special herbs at night. In Latvia, the festival is called Jani, and some special herbs were gathered early morning when still filled with dew, other herbs were gathered at noon, and some in the evening and at night. The Vikings believed that the healing powers of sacred springs was magnified on this night, and that the coming season was the best time for conducting trade. The Druids believed that at special times like the summer solstice, the boundaries of veils separating our world from parallel worlds became thinner, and that portals opened up at certain sites on these days. In India, some temples are perfectly aligned to solar events. An example is the Anantapadmanabha Swami temple, the world's richest temple. The gopuram or top of the temple consists of a tapering tower with 7 tiers representing the 7 higher worlds. At the center of each tier is a window with another window exactly opposite it on the other side of the temple. It's been designed in such a way that only twice a year, during the equinoxes, sunlight comes streaming in through the middle of the top window all the way to the lowest one, with 5-minute gaps between each window. At this temple in the Andhra Pradesh state of India, sunlight falls on the main deity of the temple twice a year only at the equinoxes. According to yogic philosophy, our bodies are designed to work in sync with the sun and the moon. Just a few decades ago, this wouldn't have been taken seriously by most people, but the modern world is waking up to the fact that the sun has a far more powerful impact on us than we thought. For example, yoga is supposed to be done very early in the morning and usually begins with the Surya Namaskar or sun salutation in which we face the sun. Compare that to some of the modern findings from sleep science. Exposure to bright lights at night time can increase the risk of breast cancer in women. It's because sunlight regulates our circadian rhythm, helping us to sleep, and we disrupt that rhythm by using lights after sunset. Have you noticed that on dark, gloomy winter days, you tend to be more depressed? This occurs because our serotonin levels plunge on cloudy days. So the sun affects even our moods. Therefore, the sun has a profound impact on our minds and bodies. We should consider the possibility that the sun influences us even on a spiritual level. This is probably the reason why ancient cultures built monuments to mark the solstices, equinoxes, and other solar events. If you found this video informative, please subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching.